Okay. Yeah. Well, first I like what you said about both of you guys spoke to something that I think is really like crucial. Is like this thing of like going for a sensation or like fixing a knot or something versus what happens when we can, it's like counterintuitive, or like actually softening into something can help us sometimes to feel more different kind of feeling than like digging into it or like stretching it. um but that's maybe something to notice as we're moving today. It's like, how much am I really doing, and then how much am I just setting up some sort of condition that can then unfold, you know? So let's start seated today. And I actually do want to start with addressing some of these, maybe selfishly because I was on a plane all day, some of these kind of crunchy things. So let's sit up tall, but notice if you are like feeling that tendency of like, you notice the sensation, it's like, ooh, that's probably a good stretch. And then there's like this kind of grab on it. See if we can be a little soft about it. So first, just finding the spine. You can sit in any way that's comfortable. By the way, this could also be in a chair or up on a block or up on a pillow or something. So you're first just feeling where you're touching the floor. And from that space where you're touching the floor, you're seeing, feeling the spine growing up through the middle of you. So you can trace the spine in your awareness. We're just sitting to begin. And you might notice the spine is in the back. Yeah, there's the like sticky outy like dinosaur bone part, but then it's quite thick, like it goes in kind of far into the middle of you. So can you feel into not just the dinosaur bone ridge on the back, but also kind of feel into or imagine the front of the spine? And that'll put your awareness somewhere in the middle of you, or something that feels like the middle, closer to the center. And you might start to bring your breath into some kind of rhythm that's nice and easy and sustainable. If you like to suspend at the top of the inhalation and the bottom of the exhalation, you could do that. If that becomes like something that's causing extra strain, you can drop it. A nice place to start a lot of days is to bring the breath into samavritti, so an equal in breath and out breath. And see if you can start to slow that breath down. Almost like you're smoothing the breath out across some kind of surface, like you're buttering a piece of toast. And it's an even, maybe it's Nutella. I prefer that actually. Maybe you're putting Nutella on a piece of bread and you're squishing it across, nice and easy and even. And I like to chant. Let's chant Om 3 times, one after the other. Maybe feeling how the sound moves in and around the spine. Maybe you imagine the sound starting at the bottom of the spine and traveling up the spine, vibrating up the spine until it That sound can kind of resonate in your face or the roof of your mouth. Okay. Inhaling. You can keep your eyes closed for this next bit. We're gonna just take the chin and let the chin fall towards the chest. Notice if your shoulders start to round with it. Can you keep your shoulders nice and broad, chest nice and broad? And you're just letting your face fall towards your sternum. And taking a couple of breaths into the upper back, resisting that temptation to stretch, you know? Just letting the weight of your head fall down and letting that be a gentle sort of weighing down. And feel your breath rise and fall. Feel it widening the collarbones, widening the upper back. And bring your face back to center. Notice your head kind of balancing there on top of your spine. And start to make some vertical circles, like ovals, with the tip of your nose. Like you have a canvas out in front of you, like a flat thing out in front of you, and you're drawing a circle on it with like a little paintbrush. And you can go the other way. Notice how this is different than like circling the neck. It's kind of a smaller movement. And then eventually come back to center. And then you'll just reach your chin a little forward and up and let your jaw fall open. Just a little forward and up. Feeling into just this little kind of front neck face muscles. And if you want to, you could reach back with your opposite hand. So if your nose is going, for example, up to the right, your left arm would reach back. If that works, if it feels good. And then you'll bow your forehead slightly forward and reach that hand forward in space. So you're making like a, oh, you're making like a little, I don't know what this gesture is, but you're like inclining your forehead a little bit forward, and you can move your arm around until you find that place that feels really nice and like kind of brutal in like the upper side shoulder. And just breathing there. And coming back to center. I'm just noticing your two sides. And then you'll just reach the chin forward and up to the other direction, maybe reaching the opposite arm back, and let your jaw fall open. Just You can even bring some sound. You could sing. You can stick your tongue out. And then reaching you're tucking your chin, you're bringing your eyebrow a little forward and then reaching your hand a little forward. And just noticing, like, as you adjust, as you go, like, quote unquote, deeper, as you stay longer, and you're noticing this process, it really feels like the beginning of a process starting to unfold. It's like there's likely, for most of us, something kind of stuck there, and you're just inviting it to kind of follow this stretch into a little release. But the more you reach and the more you turn your head, etc., it's not going to stretch more. You're just letting it be in one spot and letting it kind of unfold wherever it is. And come back to center and just notice whatever you notice. Okay. And then as you inhale, if you are one who wants to lift their arms above their head, you can inhale the fingertips through the sides and come up, feeling the chest nice and broad. And slowly, with your own breath, coming back down through the sides. Again, you're smoothing the movement out along with the breath. You're smoothing the breath along with the movement. So inhaling to come up, exhaling to come down. Notice that as you're bringing your arms up, the ribs are also swinging out to the sides um, like bucket handles, I had a teacher say. The ribs swing kind of down and out as the breath comes in. Just notice that. So you get wide as the hands come up. As the hands come down, you kind of gather back in towards the center. Yeah. Good. And then you can just pause after you've smoothed out the breath. Notice if the breath has slowed down even just a bit more. And I will come to standing, however you want to get there. You could just pop on up. You could come to fours and come through downward facing dog. You can always stay seated. This next thing you can be seated for too. You just come to standing and notice yourself standing. Notice your feet right there underneath your hips. And then we'll interlace the hands if that's comfortable. You'll inhale up onto your tippy toes, lifting the palms towards the ceiling. Feel as you're reaching your palms towards the ceiling, your toes are grounding down, your heels are lifting. And then as you exhale, bring your heels and your hands down in that same smooth, coordinated way, so that the hands arrive as the heels touch down. And release the fingers. Good. This time you'll stay up there once you've risen up onto your toes. So you're pressing the palms up towards the ceiling. You're up on your tippy toes. And exhale here, feeling your belly move towards the spine. Inhale. Maybe one more breath here. Exhaling, feeling the belly move towards the spine. The tailbone seems to grow down towards the ground. And then on an exhalation, you'll smoothly move down, coming all down and all in one piece. Good. Come up again in your own time, inhaling to bring the hands through the front. Exhale once you're there. Feel the exhalation happens around the center of you. The belly moves towards the spine. The tailbone elongates like you're like a kangaroo or somebody who has a long tail. So shut up. Exhale, come down. Good. This time you'll come up onto your tippy toes. So you'll inhale to come up. Now this time on your exhalation, as you feel your belly move towards your spine with your hands interlaced, if that's still comfortable, you can twist to the side. Inhale, coming back to center. And then exhaling to twist to the other side. Inhale, come back to center. And then exhale to smoothly lower everything back down. Hands come alongside you. Now, in standing, just with your feet on the ground underneath your heels, I would like for you to imagine that you have a long, powerful tail there around the tailbone. It keeps going. And maybe even comes to the floor, like out behind you, like there's space and muscularity and presence there behind you. It doesn't change how you're holding your pelvis or anything, but this image might just give you a little bit of more awareness to the pelvis. It's like, whoa, there's more going on here in all directions. Then you'll inhale, coming up onto your tippy toes, reaching your fingers up towards the ceiling. Exhale, feel your belly move towards the spine and twist. And this time you'll stay in the twist. So you're now balancing, you're twisted, and you have a tail. So you're inhaling, just feeling the chest nice and open. You're exhaling, feeling the belly move towards the spine, stabilizing you. And then on an inhalation, you'll untwist, coming back to center. You can play with your balance, twist to the other side. Inhale while you're in this balancing twist. Exhale, feel the belly move towards the spine. Notice your big long tail. And then on an inhalation, you'll come back to center. And then exhale and lower the hands down. Good. Now take a wider stance. And I'm going to do this too because I need it. You're going to take your feet wide and turn your toes slightly out. And just bring a hand, if it's comfortable, like somewhere in front of the low belly or pelvis area. Just kind of feel into this space. You can bend your knees and feel like your center of gravity dropping down. And we're going to inhale to press into your feet and widen into a big starfish. Careful not to lock your knees, but you're really pressing down into the four corners of your feet like you're going to spread the mat out. You should feel really open in the ankle joints. You're pressing down and away. Maybe you even come up off your heels. Just pressing into the balls of your feet. Yeah, and then keep that action in the balls of your feet and soften the heels to the ground. Really open ankles. And then exhale, just soften everything, bending the elbows, bending the knees. Maybe even feeling like the tail tucks in just a little bit. You can bring your hands close in. Inhale to widen into a big starfish, pressing down and away with the feet. Down and away. Like everything radiates out from the center, and then exhale, just soften the joints. Could even let your chin come in. You could let your tail kind of come in. You're just soft here. One more time. Inhale, use your whole breath to widen, grow, pressing down and through the floor with the feet, especially the balls of the feet. The heels are nice and light. And then exhale to just soften all of your joints. Nice. Good. And then just step your feet one at a time back underneath you, or you can do a little hop. That's kind of fun. So you're back standing, and just notice the space at the fronts of your hips, the hip flexors. See if you can bend into the knees just a little bit. Feel your feet on the ground and let all of this space be open. You can imagine that tail growing down out of the back of you, sort of space and presence behind you. Good. Then turn towards the short end of your space. We're going to do a super elegant, super slow motion sort of sun salutation thing. Just feeling into the front of the body, especially the fronts of the hip joints and the ankles. So you'll inhale, float the arms through the front, just feeling the whole front body open. Using your whole breath to get there. Then exhale, feel your belly move towards your spine and let it fold you forward, bending your knees. Good. Now placing your hands on the floor, you will feel the presence of your hands on the floor. 2 handprints, 2 footprints, really, really clear. And you can bend your knees as much as you want to make this possible. Then feel the right foot getting very light. And you'll step back as far as you can with the right leg, stepping back as far as you can. Yeah, so as the right heel is reaching back, the chest is reaching forward. And press into your hands to step off of the front foot, coming into a plank. Again, stepping the left foot as far back to meet the right. Inhale here, and then exhale back to downward facing dog. Knees can be bent. Good. Now with an inhalation, you'll inhale here, you'll exhale to step the right foot in between your hands. Whoosh. Belly moves towards the spine, you exhale, the knee comes forward. Good. Inhale here to enjoy the space in the front of the chest, the front of the hip. And then exhale to step the back foot forward, coming into a forward bend. Uttanasana. Good. Inhale, come halfway up. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, floating yourself back down. Uttanasana. Then inhale, reach the arms forward alongside your ears and let yourself get picked up on the way. It's like the arms reach forward, the chest opens, and the rest of you comes with. Yes. So that the whole front body is open. At the top, you might find a little back bend, and then exhale, float the arms down by your sides. Now we'll do this again on the other side. And I would just like to invite this image of a yawn, like a yawn. You know that feeling of a yawn. Let's just try it. It might be like evocative and awesome, and it might not do anything. But let's inhale to just sort of yawn the front body open, letting the arms come up. Apologies if this actually makes you yawn. Exhale to fold, bending your knees as much as you want to, letting the back body be open, the back of the neck be soft. Then you'll feel your hands on the floor. Feel your left foot becoming a little lighter and yawn the left hip open as you step the left hip back, or left foot back, excuse me. Yep. And then exhale, step the other foot back. Sorry, inhale, step the other foot back. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Good, good. Feel the backs of the legs yawning open. Feel the ankle joints nice and soft. Then you'll inhale here, feeling spacious across the front body. Exhale, step the left foot forward. You'll bring the left knee towards your face and stepping the foot forward. Good. Inhale here to just yawn open the front of the chest, the front of the hip. And then exhale, bring the back foot towards the front foot. Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms alongside your ears. Nice open chest, long spine as you come up. And at the top, maybe a sort of banana-ing, crescenting of the upper back, upper chest. Exhale, float the arms slowly down. Good. Nice. Is that a helpful word? Let's take another shape. Let's bring the right foot forward and the left foot back. And you can take a nice bend in the front leg. The back foot will be at a little bit of an angle. It's like pitch black. Oh, yeah. Back foot is at a little bit of an angle. Front knee is nice and bent. And then your torso everything can face the front, your navel, your chest, everything facing forwards. Nice. And then feel into the front foot, that front ankle. And you'll just, let's see. Let's press into the front foot to straighten the front knee. So now we'll inhale and bend into the front knee, widening the elbows, opening the chest. Exhale, press into the sole of the front foot to bring your hands into the center and straighten the front knee. So you're inhaling to bend into the front knee, widening the arms, widening the elbows. Exhale, you're pressing into the sole of your foot to soften the ankle, soften the knee back to straight. Does this make sense? I'm trying to say it in a silly way, but I hope it's making sense. You're inhaling to yawn everything open. This front hip flexor is opening. Then you're exhaling and you're softly returning back to a straight leg by just pressing into the floor underneath your front foot. Just a couple more times. And this can become as extreme a back bend as you want it to be. And the next time that you're in the shape, we can stay. You can do all kinds of stuff with your arms. You could make a frame up overhead, grabbing opposite elbows like this. You could bring your hands to touch. You could interlace your fingers behind you, whatever it is. With each inhalation, just feel this opening in the chest, opening in the front of the hips. The back pinky toe is grounding down. Good. And then as you exhale, you'll bring your hands down to frame the front foot. Feel your hands on the ground. Use your hands to step your front foot towards your back foot, coming into a plank. And then you can exhale back to downward facing dog. From downward dog, be very light on your feet. At the bottom of the exhalation, you might hop or walk up towards your hands. Very nice. Inhale, come halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana, open chest, shoulder blades come onto your back. Chin is slightly tucked. And then exhale to fold, just letting everything be nice and easy. Inhale, bring your arms in line with your ears. Let the chest be nice and broad as you come up. Spine is long. And then exhale, float the arms down by your sides. And just notice for a moment in Tadasana if you notice a difference from side to side. Specifically in the fronts of the hips, feel a soft bend in your knees. Let the fronts of your ankles be soft. Yeah. And then step the left foot forward, right foot back. So the right foot now is at a little bit of an angle. You're pressing down through your right pinky toe. Your left foot is nice and bent. And then in this first bit, you can kind of experiment with like this knee is bent. There it is. And you can move your kneecap so that your leg becomes straight. Straighten the knee. That's not so nice. Another way to do this is to press into the sole of your front foot and just keep pressing until that leg straightens. You feel the difference? Same with coming into the bend. There's like bent knee, or there's this kind of like, oh my God, wow, bending of the knee. Almost like the back of the knee is moving forward, and then the sole of the foot is pressing to straighten the leg. So then as you inhale, you can add the arms now. You can inhale, just softening, yielding into that foot, opening the chest, yawning the whole situation open. Chest, belly, face. You might even smile or look up with the eyes. And then exhale, you're pressing into the sole of the foot to bring yourself back to straight leg, gathering the arms in towards your chest. A couple more times, just like that. Inhaling to open. Exhaling to soften back into kind of like a neutral starting place. Good. And then the next time that you come into Warrior One, you will stay for a moment. Bringing your hands wherever, grounding back through the back foot. And your arms are somewhere that is bright and open and nice for the chest. They might accentuate the back bend in some way. But whatever the arm gesture, I like to think of whatever the arms are doing, it's like it is born out of what's already happening in the spine. So like my spine is coming into this back bend, so my arms are going to go into this V shape because that's what we're doing, you know? Or like I'm feeling so open in my chest that I'm going to reach back behind, up over my head. And then you can exhale to frame the front foot with the hands. And inhale to step back to a plank. If you want to, you can exhale and lower down chaturanga or knees, chest, and chin. And then inhale, yawning open, not only the chest, but the fronts of the hips, the front of the belly, and then exhaling back to downward facing dog. So nice. Good. And then at the bottom of an exhalation, when there's no breath, you can hop towards your hands, or you could walk towards your hands. Very good. Inhale, come halfway up. And exhale, slowly folding back down, letting the lower back be soft, nice and easy after a back bend. It's nice to just hang in Uttanasana. Then inhale, reach the arms forward so that they come alongside your ears. The chest is open. It lifts you all the way up. And then exhale, slowly floating the arms back down to your sides. I love. Okay. Good. And then we'll come back to this wide stance once again. This is a great spot to hop in if you want. So just coming back to a wide stance with the toes slightly turned out. This is kind of, this I know, this is what I know is bad after heart surgery. Don't do this. Everyone else, we're gonna just soften the elbow joints. And just feel as you inhale, just feel your knees are soft, really gentle. Your elbows are soft. And you're gonna inhale here, keeping your elbows kind of how they are. You're gonna exhale and just feel where the exhale happens, there around the center of you, right? You can feel your belly moving towards your spine. You inhale, you feel the chest is open. You exhale, you feel your belly move towards the spine. Now notice if your ankles and your knees and your legs are getting all crabby, and just send your feet down through the floor, down and away from each other. Really soft fronts of ankles. It's nice to have the feet a little turned out. Now, with all of that, this soft open pelvis, these strong legs, this open chest, what we're gonna do is follow the exhalation into kind of, I forget what this is called, but it's fun. So you'll inhale here, nice and open. You'll exhale. As you're exhaling, you'll kind of tip one elbow towards your knee, come all the way into like a round thing, other elbow towards the knee, all the way up. Okay? So if you, yeah, so you'll exhale. While you're exhaling, the breath is moving out, 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 out. And then you fill back up. Yeah. So try it with your own breath, with your own pace of your breath. It'll be more like whoosh. And you can kind of trust into the support of your legs and let it be kind of free and freaky and fun. You could go one way a few times and then the other way a few times. Yeah. Your arms stay in this kind of soft structure. Your legs stay in that soft structure. Yeah. Good. And pause for just a moment, coming back to this. It was like, oh, what the hell? What are we doing? So you come back to this pose. Knees are soft, elbows are soft. When you come over, you can have a moment of like really like curving. As you come over, you come to the side, you can really enjoy this. And then your inhalation will start kind of on your way back up. And then you, and then it comes back up. Yeah. So you're exhaling as you're moving, inhaling to pop back up. And you can go fast. Knees and pelvis stay supportive. So, and I haven't really been cueing which way to go. So you could just, just play. Whoosh. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. And come back to center. I'm like, what am I certain that Wes can't participate? That'll bust the bar for two. Okay, coming back to center. Sorry. Coming back to center, just press into both of your feet until your legs straighten. And then turn all of your toes to face the same direction. And now we'll take a forward fold. We'll come into Prasarita Padottanasana. Just letting the head and neck fold, letting everything be soft and easy in the spine. You can let your knees bend any amount. When we're moving with the breath and when we're really riding the breath, as it were, the body can become really like fun and floppy and free, but still maintain this kind of structure. You might have felt this when we're practicing the jumping back or jumping forward in the sun salutation, Nice. And then coming back in your own time, you'll come back up to standing. Maybe you come halfway up first and exhale, just grounding before you come all the way up. And then step your feet back underneath your hips. And just notice whatever you notice. We were spinning around, we went upside down. Notice what is here now that you're symmetrical and upright and still. Just notice what that's like. Good. And then float the arms up. Again, with this image of yawning the body open. You feel the whole front body in a nice open yawn through the fronts of the ankles, fronts of the thighs, front of the belly, front of the chest. And then exhale to fold. Bending your knees as you come down. Uttanasana. Oh, sorry, awkward. Some of you guys have to rotate. We're going to step back to downward facing dog. Do what you got to do. Come back to downward facing dog. And take a moment to enjoy this inversion with 2 feet, 2 hands on the ground. Even though you are folded and the hips are in flexion, notice the space in and around the hip joints. And if you're seated too, you can notice, even though my legs are crossed maybe, or I'm in flexion in the hips, notice the space in the pelvis, like the pelvis is a big bowl. Notice if this downward dog has any kind of agenda, if there's like stretches that are trying to stretch, and can you just soften into what is already happening? There's nothing to achieve. The heels don't have to touch the floor, nothing like that. Instead, you might notice what space is already here. Just already there's this space across the chest or the space in the backs of the legs. And then you can softly lower the knees to the ground and come back into balasana, child's pose. Nice. And here, a very grounded place to be. You can just let everything be very solid on the floor. Let your bones be heavy. And now that you're in this kind of extreme forward fold shape, notice the back body. Notice the shoulder blades yawning apart from one another with each breath. There's new space. Good. And then we'll make our way to our backs. So come to lie down on your back. Yeah. Good. Nice. And in Shavasana, so with the legs long, just notice your heels, the back of the pelvis, the shoulders relaxing into the floor. And keeping your pelvis and your shoulders and everything more or less where it is, you're just going to move your right leg out to the right as far as it can go without shifting the pelvis. Slide it out to the side. And then slide the other leg as close to that right leg as possible. It won't go all the way probably. So then you'll just slide your right leg back to meet that other leg. So now your legs are together and kind of to the right. But the pelvis is still nice and easy on the ground. Picture like a big bowl or a big dinner plate, like nice, balanced, spacious, heavy thing. That's the pelvis right there. And now this is nice. You're just breathing into this little compression on the right side, the space on the left side. If you'd like to, if you have room, you can sweep the left arm up alongside your ear. And then maybe even bringing the right hand to grab it. You can become a full banana. And your chin, your eyes can look wherever is comfortable. This is a great example of like, this is a shape that Just by resting here passively, a lot can happen. It can open up some stuff in the lungs and stuff, you know. Just it can get weird. It can help with digestion. But all of this is happening just from softening into and gently being in this shape. You don't have to, in other words, you don't have to make the most banana-y banana in order to get the benefits of this pose. You've set up a comfortable banana, and now the breath moving through this crescent shape is what's gonna move stuff around. So feel your shoulders on the floor. Notice if you can soften both sides of the shoulder girdle to the ground. And we're kind of gently compressing the right side of the digestive system, the lung, etc. I know of a teacher who used to teach this pose. It would be like, an hour of just this pose, just breathing in this pose. And then I imagine that everybody afterwards would be like fighting for the bathroom afterwards or crying or something. How easy could this be? Just let it be really easy, almost like this is just where you've laid down to take a little nap. But you've set yourself up in such a way you could just watch this process unfold, this opening in the left side, this stretching through the side body. And then you're welcome to stay here as long as you want, or you can just slide yourself back to Shavasana, just coming back, noticing if you feel kind of lopsided. Feel your two heels again, returning to symmetry-ish, back of the pelvis, the shoulders. And then you'll slide your left foot out to the side, left straight leg as far as it can go without shifting the pelvis. And then bring the right foot to meet it. And then split the difference. You'll bring the left leg back. So it isn't so lazy, really. You can notice as you're setting up, like you're energized through your legs. You're setting up very intentionally this shape. But what is lazy, I guess, is that it's a passive stretch. Like you don't have to, once you're in the shape, you don't have to keep banana-ing. You have bananaed and you get to just enjoy your banana nature. That's what's nice about it. There's a lot going on, but you are not in charge. You're letting the shape sort of work on you in a way. You can add the arms, of course, opening up the right armpit. And just breathing into these open spaces that are kind of forcefully opened, and then you get to breathe through them. At the same time, relaxing back even more, relaxing back through the shoulders, through the backs of the hips, the pelvis, through the heels. Notice if there's any kind of tight spots that are becoming more noticeable. Maybe the jaw or the shoulders, or noticing some holding there. Mhm. And with these longer holds, it's always a nice opportunity to notice what's up in the mind. Good. It's like you're just this big, ripe, juicy fruit, so tender, so full. You're just relaxing into your fullness. Yeah. And then when you feel like it, you can come back to center, coming back to Shavasana, letting both legs be long. Take an inhalation here and an exhalation. As you exhale, you can feel your belly just gently softening towards your spine. You can inhale one more time, and as you exhale and you feel your belly move towards your spine, you might let it curl you into Apanasana from the navel. It's like the rest of you follows and you curl in towards yourself. Mm-hmm. So nice. Good. Nice. Then you can bring your feet to the floor. And with an inhalation, you can reach your tail up towards your knees, coming into a little bridge pose. You can rest your outer upper arms on the floor if you want. It can feel nice, just more opening of the fronts of the hips. You could come down and come in and out of the shape dynamically, is always kind of a nice thing. Or you could stay in the shape. And there's a version, of course, of bridge pose where you are using your muscles to push your pelvis towards the sky. And you are pushing the chest open and pushing the pelvis up. Then there's also a version where you are following the inhalation, yawning the whole front body open, the fronts of the knees, the fronts of the hips, the low belly, the chest. Almost like the inhalation is kind of tossing tossing the shape up and out, and you're following. I like the second version. That wasn't clear. Breath is opening you and you're going with it. And you might find that you can actually get up into a taller shape that way. Or not. Who cares? But it's interesting. We find more mobility, more freedom, it seems like, in the joints when we're following the breath. We have more fuel, more inspiration, come into a fuller expression. You can come on down when you're ready. And then come to rest just with the knees bent, maybe, and the feet flat on the floor. Or it might be nice to bring the soles of the feet together and the knees wide. Supta Baddha Konasana. Your hands could rest on your body somewhere. You could make a frame above your head with your elbows. Just be sure that if you choose that one, that you can still relax your shoulders somewhat to the floor. That they're not too like hiked up and it's not adding more tension. It can be a nice little shoulder opener. And feeling the difference between pushing the knees open or even like gravity pulling the knees down. Seems a bit harsh for today. Instead, I'd like to invite you to let the knees just float on the air there. The air is supporting your knees. Or better yet, you have blocks underneath your knees. That can be really nice. If you're in Supta Baddha Konasana, that is. But your knees are resting on the air. And notice that as you rest into the air, the inner groin muscles might be more willing to open. Notice if there's any kind of holding that could be released. And as you're breathing, you might feel this easy rise and fall of the belly, this easy kind of gradual opening of the chest, this elongating of the front body. If you want to stay in Supta Baddha Konasana, you can, or if you feel like switching it up, you can always come into Shavasana. You can use your hands to guide your knees back together to kind of keep with the spirit of resting the legs, resting open. And then you can come into Shavasana. And even in Shavasana, it's so interesting. Your legs are parallel. Your back body is grounded. You're not puffing the chest out or arching the back, really. And yet you can feel this openness, this space across the front of the body, like the space between your pubic bone and your breastbone is getting longer. You can sometimes even feel like you're getting longer. So you can just rest and enjoy your length, your width. I just got back to New York today and I'm like, no, my length and my width, they're lost, lost in the crowd. So here you can just relish in returning to your full size. Nice. And then you can, in your own time, roll to one side and use your hands to press yourself up to a seat. I want to close with a little pranayama if you want, or you can continue to rest in shavasana. That's great as well. You'll come upright, you'll come to a seat. And this one goes out to all of my clogged nostril friends. So sitting tall. um, so there's a, and take your time, ignore me. If you want to stay in your own space, just turn me off. There's basically two kinds of breath that we can use. That's not true, but these are two types of breath that we can use in pranayama. One is ujjayi, which you might be familiar with, where you're bringing breath in through the nose, but it strokes the back of the throat and it makes kind of a sound at the back of the throat, right? On the in breath and the out breath. So it's coming through the nose, but it feels kind of in the throat. Yeah. And then there's like your kind of stuffy too. It's like you're sniffing something and then it makes a sniffy sound. Those are two different kinds of breath. So what we're going to do is you can take a mudra. So you'll inhale through both nostrils with a ujjayi type of breath. So you'll inhale through the nose, let it brush back the back of your throat. You'll close the right nostril and exhale, sniffing out of your left nostril. If you snot rocket, I guess that's fine. Just out of the left. Then you'll inhale ujjayi. So you'll let the mudra go off your nose. Close the left and sniffy kind of sound out of the right. But you shouldn't really snot rocket because it's not forceful. It's like a smooth out through your nose. Then you'll inhale through both. Exhale out through the left with a sniffing sound. Inhale ujjayi, stroking the back of the throat, bringing the breath in. Exhale out through the right. So plug in the left nostril. Good. Inhale ujjayi, stroking the back of the throat. Exhale out through the left. with a sniffy sort of breath out. Inhale, Ujjayi. This will be the last one. Exhale out through the right. If you want, you can do one more round on your own, and I'll stop talking. You can just notice whatever you notice. And then you can just return to a natural breath. And just notice whatever you are noticing. And then let's close with a chant. So let's just chant Om together. To close, you might bring your palms together and bow your chin in towards your fingertips. Thank you to this ancient practice and all of its teachers. And thank you all for your presence and for practicing together. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.